is the standard that is defined that how a scripting language should be. So ECME 262 specification defined a standard version of the core JavaScript language. What did they define? They defined JavaScript that JavaScript should be lightweight, interpreted programming language, and it should be designed for creating network-centric applications. Network-centric applications. What do you mean by network-centric applications? Network-centric applications means online. Means when we are working online, means there is a client, there is a server, and we are on the internet. That time, it has been designed for handling the client side. It is used for handling the clients. So it has the network centric applications, and it has been also integrated with Java and HTML, and it is open and cross platform. It can be run on different platforms, on mobiles or laptops, and different on different devices. So this was the definition given by ECME. Now let us see the JavaScript. The client-side JavaScript is the most common form of the language. Common because, as we have already said, that JavaScript is very lightweight, and because of it being very lightweight, it is most preferred language for handling the client side. Next, the script should be included in or referenced by an HTML document for the code to be interpreted by the browser. As we have said that JavaScript is an interpreted language. So it is in the second point, we are dealing with the same thing, that it is said that any browser, first it makes the interpretation and then displays the message. It means that a web page need not be a static HTML, but can include the codes, the programs that interact with the user, control the browser, and dynamically create HTML content. Means that JavaScript is embedded in HTML. So everything on HTML means whatever we design in HTML. For example, we are designing a form having a text button, a text box, a label, or a paragraph, or a div section. We are treating everything, div, tags of HTML as objects. So we can work with the tags that has been defined in HTML, and we can make those tags interactive. Means that if we want to change the text in a paragraph, we can do that by using JavaScript. As we have said that JavaScript is embedded in HTML. It can handle every tag, any tag of HTML, and it can do some dynamic work. Next, the JavaScript client-side mechanism provides many advantages over traditional CGI server scripts. It gives many advantages over traditional CGI server script languages. For example, you might use JavaScript to check if the user has entered valid email address in the form field. JavaScript, as I told you, it is mainly used to handle the client side. Client side, what do a client do? A client enters his email ID, his password, or if he wants to enter if he wants to register himself, then he has to fill up a form. And while fill up a form, if he has to enter an email ID, and by mistake he enters a different format, for example, he forgets to enter @ while entering his email ID, he will get a pop-up message or a text message that the email ID that he has entered is not uh, correct. So here the client will get the message itself that he has to enter the email ID in the correct format. Next, what can a JavaScript code do? When the user, as I said, that when the user submits the form will be submitted on the form will be submitted only if all the field that is required by the user to fill is correct or not. Before submitting the form, the JavaScript code will check that all the field have been filled or the required field has been filled or not. Has he uh, entered the date? For example, if he has to enter a DOB, has he entered the DOB in the correct format or not? So these are the different functions of a JavaScript, the different functions of JavaScript which will make the web page more interactive. So next we'll discuss the advantages of JavaScript. Advantages, what are the advantages? Obviously it makes less server interaction. Means every time when we are entering our email ID or we are entering our username, we don't have to submit don't have to wait for the server to respond that you have to fill the username or your username is not your email ID is not correct. It is being handled on the client side itself. So there is very less server interaction. So the example that is given is you can validate user input before sending the web page off to the server. So it can save the load on the server. And the second advantage is that immediate feedback to the visitors. I'm getting the quick response. If I'm not if I forgotten if I forget to enter the email ID, I get the immediate response that your email ID is blank or your username is blank. So enter the username. Okay, so we don't have to wait for page to reload to see if they have forgotten to enter something. Next, increase interactivity. By using JavaScript with HTML, we are increasing the interactivity with the users. For example, I can change the background of a web page, or I can alert the users through a pop-up message. Okay, I can change if I'm moving my mouse over a text, the text color changes. Okay, so there is increased interactivity. Next is we have different richer interfaces. Richer interfaces means we have drag and drop components and sliders to give rich interface to your site visitors. So these were the different advantages of JavaScript. Every language has some advantages and some disadvantage. JavaScript has also some limitations which are okay when we are making the JavaScript a lightweight. So first limitations is that we cannot treat the JavaScript as a full-fledged programming language. It's a lightweight, means it does not have a full-fledged programming capabilities. So it lacks the following important features. Because it is lightweight, it lacks the important features. What are those features? See, uh, for security purposes, JavaScript does not have the capabilities of reading or writing of files. Second is JavaScript cannot be used for networking applications because there is no support available. Third, JavaScript does not have any multi-threading or multiprocessor capabilities. It is, as I've said, that it only handles a client at a time. So it will obviously, there is no requirement of having multiprocessor capabilities. I am handling the client on the system itself. So why do I need any multiprocessor capabilities? So you can say that this is an advantage, also a limitations of JavaScript. Now let us see the syntax of JavaScript. Uh, I'm using the notepad as an editor for writing the code. You can use any editors for writing the JavaScript. As I discussed while teaching HTML, that HTML can be written in any editors. I'm using notepad. You can use any editor for writing JavaScript. So first, uh, as I've told that uh, we are embedding the JavaScript within an HTML. So to distinguish an HTML code with a JavaScript code, we have to use the tag, that is the script tag. As you can see, the tag is similar to HTML. This is because the browser will find it convenient to deal with HTML type of tags or markup type of tags. So we are telling the browser that we have a tag called a script, and the script can belong to JavaScript. Now we have the any code of JavaScript that we want to write should be written between between these two tags, that is the starting tag of script and the ending tag of script of the HTML tag. Now you can place the script tag containing your JavaScript anywhere within your web page. You can use this. You can you can write the JavaScript in anywhere, means in the body section or the head section of a HTML. But only we have to use the script tag. You have to remember that while writing any JavaScript code, you have to write the script tag. And next, it is normally recommended that you should keep it within the head tags. We can write anywhere, but it is normally recommended that you can write the script JavaScript under the head tag of the HTML. Now, next point, the script tag alerts the browser program to start interpreting all the text between these tags as a script. We have informed the browser that the next line of text between the script tags is a JavaScript code. Now we'll discuss a simple syntax of JavaScript. That is, we have a JavaScript code. In that, in a script tag, we have two types of attributes, important attributes. What are those? First attribute is the language. Language attribute tells the browser that the scripting language, which type of scripting language you will be using. In this we are using JavaScript, so we have to tell the browser that the language we are using will be a JavaScript language. The second attribute is the type. Type tells the browser that what type of scripting will be inputted. It is in the form of a text, or in the form of audio, or in the form of video. As we are writing the code, we have to tell the browser that the type that has to be entered is a text, which is of which language? Of the JavaScript. So here you can see I have used text slash JavaScript, means I am telling the browser that the type will be in the form of a text and the language that is to be used is a JavaScript. So the syntax that is to be given is, first we have the starting tag, that is the script, and we have the language, the attribute. Language is JavaScript. The type is text slash JavaScript, and we will write the JavaScript code. So let us take a simple example to how to print a hello world. I will show you the code which I have written. This is written in Notepad, as I've said. Now, as you see that it's a simple HTML document. In the HTML document, we have a body as a simple body tag of HTML. Under that body tag, we are distinguishing that we are going to write a JavaScript code. So we are using the JavaScript tag, that is script. And as I've discussed, we have used two attributes, language and a type. Now the next line is document.write hello world. See, as I have told that JavaScript is a object oriented language. So everything on a web page is treated by JavaScript as an object. Document.write means that we have an object, that is document. Here the document is the body of the web page. On the body we are going to display the hello world. Now let's see, while running the code we'll see that okay. Now our browser will open. And now you can see that we have printed a hello world on our web page. See, document.write. So document.write, because of document.write, this is a document, and because of document, on the document we are displaying the message hello world. Okay, so we have seen a simple example of displaying a message on the document. Now next, another example we can show here. Here we have a button. We have a button which will on clicking the button, you can see button type is equal to button. It's simple for HTML form, and for HTML form I have used the button type button. On click is equal to document dot get element dot inner HTML is equal to date. Now if we see, while clicking on this display, I am able to display the current date, time. Now if I see the code, see the on click is equal to document dot get element dot inner HTML is equal to date. If you see this is a part of the JavaScript. This is a part of JavaScript where as I have told that we have a object document. Now we have to find where to display the message. To display the message, I have, if you see, I have a p tag, and for that p tag I am giving the ID, means I am identifying a p tag with demo. So By writing the get element by ID, I'm finding any tag with the ID demo on the web on that HTML document, and I am going to display the message on the inner HTML. Inner HTML means that within the HTML document itself, on the HTML document itself, I am displaying the message. What message? The date. Date is an inbuilt function, and I am displaying the date on the web page. So this was my second example, a simple example. Let us see the third example. Third example is that third example is same, sorry, is the fourth example I have to show you. Fourth example I'm going to describe here. We are dealing with the functions, JavaScript function and events. To make the to give more interaction to the HTML web page, we have to use some functions, that functions of JavaScript. So these are called JavaScript function and events. Events are those which will be captured. Any actions that has to be captured are called events. For example, I'm clicking my mouse. On clicking a mouse, some event has to be made. Event such as to capture that event means on clicking a mouse, it can be that the background of the web page may change, or if I'm moving the mouse to a text, then the text color changes. These are some of the events. For handling those events, we have to write a function. So a JavaScript function is a block of JavaScript code that can be executed when called for. For example, a function can be called when an event occurs, like when the user clicks a button. Okay, just as I've said that when clicking a button, an event occurs. Different type of event can occur while clicking a button. That will be handled by the JavaScript. So